Hi, I'm Emma. I'm here with Love Crafts and I'm going to show you how to follow a cross stitch pattern. We're going to be looking at this lovely flamingo. I'm going to show you how to understand all the technical details and charts and things. And then you will be able to make your very own lovely cross stitch pattern. Okay, let's get going. When you've printed off your pattern, what you'll find is it will have two sheets and it's double-sided. So on the other side of this colour chart, you will also have a black and white chart. So it doesn't matter if you haven't got a colour printer, you'll be able to use the symbols that they show you on the other side to show you which colour you're going to be using. It's actually also really useful to use the symbols even if you have got the same colour, got a colour printout. Because when you've got two colours that are really similar to each other, these two, for example, when you start working with them are pretty similar. Actually, it really helps to just follow the symbols. So 151, which is this colour here, will be all of these circles, and that's what the majority of this flamingo is made of, this particular colour. And then we'll just use little bits of the other one. So you'll see that the paler pink is all the triangles. White is the crosses, which is this bit here. And then we've got a really dark pink and a sort of intermediate one, and they're the crosses and the horizontal lines. What this page also shows us is the two stitches we're going to be using. The majority is cross stitch. So that's the whole body of the flamingo and the legs, and then a back stitch. And the back stitch is used to do these details around here and to define the beak. It also tells you how many skeins of each colour you're going to use. It's only one of each. And then when you turn this one over, it will tell you the toolkit that you need. So that we're going to need embroidery thread, cross stitch fabric or Aida, which is what you'll find it called when you're buying it, a cross stitch needle, an embroidery hoop. That is optional, but it does make it easier. And so when you're choosing the size of your embroidery hoop, you want to know the final design size. This one's worked out at about 11.4 centimetres. So ideally, if you can get a hoop that's bigger than that, it will sit neatly within it. And then there are different weights of Aida cross stitch fabric. You get a wider mesh, which is ideal for beginners, and that's what this particular pattern's been based on. Or you can get a slightly finer mesh, which just gives you a slightly smaller finish. What we're going to do to start with, I'll show you in a second when we get going, but I'm going to start right in the centre. And that's so that we know where we are. If you try and start from the edge, you never know if you're going to get it quite right, whereabouts on the fabric it's going to sit. So if you start in the middle of your fabric, you're always guaranteed to have it sitting where you want it. And once you've built like a string of colour, we're going to work this string of colour to get started, of the circle symbol. And that gives us a frame of reference, and then we can start building our pattern around it. So I'm going to work in a hoop today, just because it makes it easier. And this is a 22 centimetre hoop, I think. So my flamingo should sit nicely inside it. If you don't know how to get your fabric into the hoop, you can check out one of our previous videos. It will show you how to do all of that. And for now, what I'm going to do is get my thread, that relates to my circle, so 151, which is here, and we're going to work this little bit here. We're going to work upwards. I'm going to start right in the middle of my canvas, and I'm going to work, I'll show you these 3 stitches. So I'm going to work from right to left, 1, 2, 3. So that being my middle stitch. So I'll do 1, and then I'm going to do 2, and then the third one, and then we'll come back and cross all those stitches. And because I started off with a right to left stitch, it means all my top stitches, all my cross stitches for this should be from bottom left to top right for the whole pattern. got to try and keep that consistency all the way through to just give that really lovely finish. And then once we've done these three, we've got to follow the colour chart to create our image. So this piece that I've worked here, this patch, is this bit here. So I've done all of these stitches in this section, starting from that middle stitch. Now what I'm going to do is going to start using another colour. I'm going to use this square as my start point, which is this stitch here, and then I can follow it down this way. So we're using this bit as our frame of reference for our pattern, which allows us to bring this new colour in. I'm going to start from the back again. I want to make sure my crossed stitches go the same way as they did with the previous colour. So that top cross stitch is going to come from the top right down to the bottom left. And there's my first one in the new colour. Now I need to come down one and do the two next to each other there. And we just have to keep constantly checking that pattern to make sure that we're working the right coloured stitches in the right places. So now you just need to continue as the pattern tells you and build up your flamingo colour by colour, section by section. And all of this is in cross stitch. So that is how to follow a pattern. We've done a really lovely flamingo pattern. There's hundreds of different ones for you to choose from, but you can go and have a look and grab it and download it for free now. If you've never done cross stitch before, we've got a beginner's guide for you, so you can check that out. And thanks very much for watching. I'm going to show you how to get started. What am I going to show you? Oh, I'm starving. And you can turn them into anything you like. What else do I need to say?